President, I rise to speak in opposition to the bill before us, S.J. Res. 19. This is a constitutional amendment that would significantly curtail the free speech rights of all Americans. I oppose this amendment because I believe that while it's critical to support speech with which we agree, it's even more crucial to support speech with which we disagree. Now, whether it's been campaign finance laws or amendments to prohibit flag burning, I've consistently opposed amending the Constitution to limit the First Amendment. As others have mentioned, if this amendment were adopted, it would be the first time Congress has limited rights protected in the Bill of Rights. This would be a very dangerous precedent to set. By limiting the amount of money that individuals and corporations can spend on elections, this amendment would clearly limit their rights under the First Amendment. The Supreme Court has made clear that this would be tantamount to a restriction on, quote, the number of issues discussed, the depths of their exploration, and the size of the audience reached. This amendment would allow us to decide what amounts of money is speech and who can use it. This is a perilous amount of power to place in the hands of politicians. I don't think we need to protect incumbent politicians. I think we need to protect the rights under the First Amendment. In addition to concerns with which that we know about this amendment, I'm even more concerned about what we don't know. Before we amend the Constitution, we're obligated to understand the effects of the legislation. What does it mean to, quote, influence elections? As the bill states, who is a, quote, candidate? What is the, quote, press? Does that include bloggers? What about a citizen who writes his or what about a citizen who writes his or own newsletter to her community association and prints it on her home computer or printer? All of these terms and more seem ripe for litigation, which leaves the true meaning of this amendment in the hands of unelected judges. It also bears mentioning that opposition to this amendment is not limited to Republicans or conservative organizations. The ACLU wrote a letter to the chairman and ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, on which I serve, opposing this legislation. The ACLU states, as we've said in the past, this and similar constitutional amendments would fundamentally break the Constitution and endanger civil rights and civil liberties for generations. I could not agree more. Amending the Constitution is serious business. I believe limiting the Bill of Rights for the first time in our history is a bad decision. I will once again vote to preserve and protect the First Amendment, and I would urge my colleagues to do the same by rejecting S.J. Res. 19. Now, as an incumbent politician, I'm the first to concede that elections are daunting. They're unpredictable. It's unnerving to see other groups and individuals spend money to run ads against you. But the alternative is to have me as an incumbent politician write rules and regulations to limit the speech of those who would run against me or support those who would run against me. That is wrong. It is wrong for people in this body to define speech, to define who is entitled to it. We need to tread carefully here. That's why we need to reject this amendment. I yield back the balance of my time and suggest the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.